Aloha and welcome to E48C Bowfolios. We're going to do a walkthrough or make some simple changes to the Bowfolios so you feel comfortable for using it as a future project. We're going to extend the application to add a new page to the application called I'm Feeling Lucky, which will take you to a new page that with a randomly chosen portfolio, or it's going to randomly choose a portfolio. So when you go to that, it'll look like this, but the profile will be randomly chosen. So the first step in this is to familiarize yourself with the template. So you should go read through the Bowfolios homepage. Take a look at all the information about Bowfolios, read through it, and then watch the 4 Bowfolio screencasts. Again, it's about 60 minutes, about an hour's worth of screencasts, so you should not try to sit through them all at once. You'll never remember what you learned in that whole hour. You should read it over or watch it over a period of time. The second part, before we start our WOD, we're going to go to the Bowfolios, and we're going to use this template. And we're going to call it My Bowfolios. Make it private. Don't need all the branches. Create the repository. And we'll clone it to our laptop. We're going to clone it. Open it in IntelliJ. You may have to say you trust this project. And then let's see if I can get back to Bowfolios. So we then want to go into the CD to the app. Meteor npm install, which will get all the packages from npm that we need for our Bowfolios application. I should probably run npm audit fix. Get rid of those. Fixed them. I should update the Bowfolios package, and then npm run start. And we're getting the packages. And again, we get this browser list error. I'm not going to worry about it, because if we do a media reset, we do the npx browser list, and then we do a media reset, we'll have that error. So I'm not too worried about it. You may want to, once you're done developing, run the npx so you don't get that error. So I've installed everything. And see if we get localhost 3000. And it looks like we've got our Bowfolios. Now and then we set up IntelliJ. We can just see that it's installed correctly. UI, layouts, app, go all the way to the bottom. I get my error on the side here. I get my squiggly. If I save it, I'll get my little red error. Save it, and I should get rid of it. So I'm at check mark. So ESLint is running. Okay, so we can kill this. Going to do a media reset to clear out the database. Meteor npm run start. I'm going to start my timer. Where's my timer? And then I want to create a branch called add lucky one using GitHub desktop. New branch, add lucky -1. create the branch. I want to bring my changes with me. I want to publish this branch to GitHub, so it's available on GitHub. So the Feeling Lucky page looks very similar to the existing profiles page, except for it only has one of the profiles, not 6. So we can probably just copy the profiles page, rename it to Lucky, and create a new lucky.jsx file. So let's do that. So under Pages, Profiles, copy it, Pages, paste it, and we're going to call it Lucky. Okay. We're going to add it, add, and we're going to say that Lucky is now going to be Lucky page. So now I'm going to do function shift F6, which is a rename to Lucky page, refactor, and I do that. Okay, do the refactor. Continue. So we got our Lucky page there, and we export default Lucky page, and we're in Lucky.jsx. So now we want that, rename it Lucky component. We want to provide a route called Lucky that renders the page. So that's in our app.jsx. We want a thing, so let's just duplicate that. We'll call it Lucky. And we're going to render Lucky. And we've got the import, since IntelliJ is smart and knows the import. So we've got the route. Now I need to update the, well, now I say if it works, we'll just type Lucky in the URL. Spelled that correctly. And we've got our route to Lucky, and we're rendering our Lucky page. So we've got the right page. Now we want to add the I'm Feeling Lucky navbar link. So we go to Components, Navbar, and we want to see where we're putting this sucker. After interests, we say I'm feeling lucky. So after interests, the path is lucky, and I'm exclamation point, but it doesn't like this single quote, so we're going to replace that single quote with ampersand a pause semicolon. Save that. Let's take a look. I've got my I'm Feeling Lucky. If I click it, well, let's go to Profiles. I'm Feeling Lucky. Change the route to Lucky. I've got that. So that's working. Got that. So now, instead of displaying all the profiles, I want to select only one at random. The underscore sample will turn out to be quite useful. So let's take a look at the code for Lucky. So what do? We get all the emails. We then map all the profile data. So that's all the profile data. But we only want one. So let's go const profile equals underscore dot sample. and it's profile data. And so now we just have our row, but instead of mapping them, we just call make card. Oh, we don't even need that. We don't even need the function. Make card on index is now going to be profile dot. Oh, it needed something new. Last name. We actually don't even need a key because we only have one of them. So let's see if I can get rid of that. Save it. Let's see what happened. So I've got Johnson, Dr. Johnson. Refresh the page. I've got myself. Refresh the page. Myself again. Serge. So we're getting random profiles when we refresh the page. That looks good. System now works, but there's a lot of duplicate code. So again, if we go back to the code, we see that there's all this make card stuff in Lucky. There's all this make card stuff in profiles. So that's just duplicate code, and we don't like duplicate code. So let's actually take out that duplicate code and create a component, and why don't we call it profile profile card. So let's create new file. It's a JSX. And then let's grab this. And pop it in here. We're going to change this Control-Shift F6. File card. Export default. But now I've got my Reacts. It imported when I copied and pasted. That was beautiful. I love the IntelliJ. Let's move this down. Let's move this up, even though it's fine where it is. Save. What's my one error? No errors? Okay, but we're not using the profile card yet, so let's go into profiles. And now it's not make card, it's profile card, which is the one down there. Let's see what our errors are. Well, we don't have these. That's good, so get rid of prop types. Love IntelliJ. Telling me exactly what I don't need anymore. Save it. We're good to go. Let's go into Lucky. We don't need this anymore. And now we make this profile card. And we're going to clean up our imports just like we did in the other one. Okay, we don't need that. We don't need the column no more. We don't need the prop types anymore. Oh, I need my space. Okay. Make sure that we're still getting the right behavior. Profiles. I'm feeling lucky. Reload. Reload. So we're getting the random sample. So now we've committed it. So now let's look if we got any lint errors. Terminal. We'll see. Run lint. No lint errors. Excellent. I always like that. So now we are done. Stop your timer. Stop my timer. 11:21. We're going to commit this code. Be in 11, well, we'll say 12. 12 minutes. I'm going to push to origin. View on GitHub, make sure our code got up there. Just added lucky one. Add lucky one. App, imports, UI, pages. There's lucky. There's the updated profiles. Let's look at our components. Profile card's been added. Navbar's been updated. Layouts, app.jx. We now have our lucky page, and we have our route to lucky. Okay. If you want to do this WOD again, all you need to do is go back to the main branch, create a new branch called add lucky 2 or 3 or 4, run the meteor reset to clear the database, start up meteor with the meteor npm run start, follow the instructions. I highly recommend you practice this. I highly recommend you take a look at the Bowfolios code because it has some very interesting collections. So profiles, we have interests, so there's a set of interests. We have a set of profiles. We also have a set of profile interests, which is a collection that just takes a profile and an interest. So we're pairing profiles with interests. So if I want to say this profile has this interest, I add a record into this collection. Same thing with profiles and projects. I can say, oh, this profile is associated with this project by creating a new document, new record in this profile projects collection. So profiles don't actually have, like you can see here, there's no indication that profiles have interests or projects. We do that by using this other collection to map profiles to projects, or excuse me, interests in this case. What this allows us to do is we could say, what are the interests for this profile by querying this collection? Or conversely, we could say, what profiles have this interest? And being able to go asking that question forwards and backwards is very powerful, because we could have had an array of profile or interests in our profile, but then to say what profiles match this interest, I got to search all the profiles, and that can be very expensive. Whereas I can just do a query on this collection, the profile interest collection, and that's a much better design for your database. Same thing with projects. Projects do not have anything about profiles, but we do have a project interest collection, so we can say what interests are associated with the projects. So again, it's a very good style of managing your data so that you can ask questions about, give me the projects with this interest, or what are the interests associated with this project. So I hope this helps understanding Bowfolios, a slightly more complicated Meteor application. It's based upon Meteor application template, React, but it adds a little more complicated things, and you might want to use Bowfolios as the basis of a future project because it does provide this nice way of managing the data. Thank you very much for your attention.